Hello, everybody. This is Beth Worsdell, author, and this is the Witty Writers Show. Welcome. I am here with the fantastic Jeri Westerson. Hello, Jeri.
Hello, hello, everybody. As soon as I know where my hand is, there it is.
You are absolutely looking beautiful. Welcome, Jeri. We've got so many people saying hello to you right now. I'm going to quickly put them on the screen so you can see who's here. We've got Josephine Wrightson.
Hello.
Said, hello to both of you. Thank you. She's staying up quite late. She's in the UK in Devon.
Oh.
Another historical.
Thank you for staying up late.
Oh, no, she's awesome. She really is. We've also got Stephanie Nicky, who's another author. She says, hello, ladies. We've also got Theodore. He says, hello, ladies. Thank you for joining us, Theodore. We've also got Leanna, who's in Australia.
Okay.
She's coping with the heat right now, Jeri, because it's blooming hot.
She's a time traveler.
She is. She is. She says, good morning, lady. I think her AC is working very hard right now. Josephine says, LOL, tell me about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've also got Starla, who's joined us, another fellow author. Hello, Starla.
That name.
She's fabulous. And we've got Linda.
Mm-hmm.
She says, hello from LA. Now, you and I are both in California.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the San Bernardino Valley. Whereabouts are you?
Oh, I'm in Riverside County.
Oh,
we're tipping a job from each other.
I can see a coffee morning coming on in our future.
Oh, yeah.
The side is actually where my brand new son-in-law is from. Yes, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful place. We've also
today, so those of you in snow.
Yeah, right. We've also got Mel Gallagher. She says, hello, lovely ladies.
Hello.
And Leanna says, LOL, my AC is never off in the summer here.
It isn't in my house either. So
I don't know. Do you know what? I got to tell you, it's probably a bit too much information. However, having gone through early menopause, I spent quite a number of years actually just opening the fridge or the freezer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just to cope.
My poor husband, he freezes at night because the window is wide open and it's 30 degrees outside. And it's just getting comfortable for me. So
I know it's duvet on, duvet off, duvet on, duvet off. Always to be a woman.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled you're here today because my gosh, I've had to make so many notes about your achievements and how many books you've got out, and the genres that you write. You blow my mind.
It's blowing my mind a little too.
Now I've had to write all this down because you've done so much. Okay, so not only are you critically acclaimed for your novels, you write medieval mystery, and you've got a whole series out, which is the Crispin Guest Medieval Noir series. Mm-hmm. The reviews are amazing, viewers, I've got to tell you. You also do urban fantasy, mm-hmm. which is gaslight fantasy and steampunk. Mm-hmm. And you also do the LGBT humorous mysteries series, which is the Scarlet Fox.
Yeah. I drive my agent crazy because he wants to market me as the medieval lady, you know, and but I want to write these other things now. So he doesn't like the having to figure out marketing, and I don't blame him.
Now I can understand why your publisher feels that way, because I've got to tell you, I've seen a photograph of you in your armor, mm-hmm. wielding your sword, and you rock it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I know how to fight. I do know how to fight with swords. So watch it. And my husband is very well behaved, as you can imagine. So
that's what I was going to say to you. How good are you with a sword, and how long did it take you to practice, because they're not light, are they? Look at that.
They actually are. This is a regular broadsword. They're only 3 pounds, which would be a lot after a while of fighting, but it's not bad. I can't really swing it around right now where I am, but I have in this room because I like to act out any fighting scenes, because it's like a sex scene, you have to make sure it's technically possible. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on in here, which is why I can't write at Starbucks, because they don't appreciate this. So no, you want to. I can do it, and I have learned all the techniques. And this is actually a one-handed sword, but you can use 2 hands. You can use it on the blade as you stab inside the helm, or anywhere you can. So yeah, this is a lot of fun.
I'm a little bit frightened right now, Jeri, because you look.
When I do in-person events, the people in the front row, it's like a Gallagher concert. They're all moving back. So anyway, there we go.
I am so impressed. Honestly, I am so impressed, because you handle it like it's part of you, which is crazy. And do you know what? You brought up something that I wanted to ask about as well, because a lot of people don't realize how much thought process has to go into action scenes, as you said, whether it be a sex scene, fighting scene, etc. And to actually learn how to sword fight for your books to make them more authentic is absolutely amazing. I bet your readers really appreciate that.
They seem to, and frankly, I think the writing was just an excuse for me to play with swords and other medieval weapons. But well, you should at least know something about it if your main character is fighting and using these weapons. So I have taught myself, and I took a class or 2 on broadsword fighting, because I had fencing in college and I was darn good at it, but fencing is not anything like broadsword fighting. So you have to learn these methods. And there was one time when I was doing this, practicing in my office here in the morning, and I was still in my bathrobe with nothing on underneath. And we had a ladder in the room because that was part of the scene. There was a lot of climbing and stuff. So I was fighting around, and I kind of slipped off the ladder, and I was hanging upside down. And I could hear through the back gate, which is where my window is facing, the Orkin man, the bug spraying guy coming. And I knew, well, I got my window wide open. I better get off of this thing quick, because he's not going to appreciate this, believe me. So there was a lot of using the sword to get myself unhooked, and then boom, as soon as he walked by. So that was handy. So the adventures of sword fighting at home, suburbia.
Jeri, you could write a story just based on that scene, really. I've got to tell you. We've got some more comments, my darlings, so I'm gonna put them on here right now so we can have a look. Starla says, LOL, I'm having hot flashes too. Jeri and I sympathize with you.
We do. Sword fighting won't help, but it couldn't hurt.
It's tough. It's tough. Oh, but I will read out. The comments. Okay. Let's have a look. Oh, we've got Jeanette. Jeanette's just joined us. She says, I will be back. Others are trying to get here, going to tell them how to get here. So she's gone off to get loads of people, which is lovely.
Good. All right.
We're going to have loads more people joining us. Stephanie Nikki says, you're impressive. She's really impressed with your sword play. Jeanette says, LOL, guess I was a little slow, but you're here now, darling.
That's all that matters. That's all
that matters, exactly. Okay, Jeanette says, how long have you written?
Oh, well, I've been writing since I could pick up a crayon as a child, small child. But it was never going to be an option to be a writer. I mean, that's those were for other kinds of people who had all kinds of experience in life and sat around smoking cigarettes in coffee houses. You know, that was for other people. That wasn't for me. So my life led me first to wanting to be on the stage. I want to be an actress. Is this surprising? I don't know. I finally went to some real world auditions when I was in college, and they were horrific. You go into these rooms and there's these suits sitting at a table, and they let you read for like 5 seconds, and then they say stop, and then they turn to each other, ignoring the fact that you're standing there, and they say things like, I don't know, I just don't think she's attractive enough. And it was like, oh, I'm standing right here. So I thought, I don't think I can go through the rest of my life doing this. So I switched to the other thing. I switched majors to the other thing that I did, which was graphic design. I mean, I didn't know I could make a living doing that.
Okay, now you were telling us about your auditions and everything. That must have been terrifying. And I think in those situations, the people who are doing the auditions become completely desensitized to people's feelings.
Oh, they have to. I mean, I understand. They see so many hundreds of people a day, but I decided that graphic design was a better option for me. To work alone in a room mostly is work, and I did not realize till much later that writing was the same thing.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
that's okay.
It's just amazing. Now, what genre did you actually start with on your writing journey? Because as we said, you know, you do a broad variety of genres. What piqued your interest to start off with?
Well, I was raised by rabid Anglophiles, so it was going to be something English and it was going to be something medieval because that was their area of interest as well. Those were the books we had on shelves. So I started with the medieval stuff. Now, it was not a mystery. They were just standalone historical fiction, the kind that editors didn't want to publish. So I never got published in that genre until I started writing mysteries, medieval mysteries. So switching to that got me noticed. So that was the thing. And this is the latest, Spiteful Bones. This is the Crispin Guest Medieval Noir series.
Beautiful. Hold it up again, Jeri, because it's absolutely beautiful.
Whoa, where is it?
Look at that.
See if I can see the
skeleton at the front.
There we go.
It's fantastic. It looks so dramatic.
It is. It's good. This is one of the better covers that they've done, so that's kind of cool. I like my skeletons, so
I think it's great, especially, you know, it gives that edge, doesn't it? As soon as you see a cover like yours that has a skeleton or bones, straight away you want to find out why.
Yeah, why are those bones so spiteful? You should relax, chill, Bones. But I mean, it's called Medieval Noir. It's a series, so that should tell you too that things are going to be kind of dark. So
it's just fantastic, and I've read your reviews, and they're absolutely amazing. And you've got a huge following, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, what made you decide to try doing the urban fantasy and the LGBT mystery?
I've always loved the fantasy genre. I mean, I lapped all that up in high school and college. And so I guess it really was my first love. And I think the first novel I ever wrote when I was 16 was one of those fantasy, you know, Tolkien-esque sort of fantasy books. So I just kind of felt like breaking out and doing something different. So the first urban fantasy I wrote was Book of the Hidden, and that's a complete series with 4 books, and that's contemporary. So it's set in Maine now, with this woman here who finds the Book of the Hidden, and when she opens it, it releases all these creatures and demons into the world, and she is tasked with putting them all back. So that actually came to me in a dream. I hate to say that, but it's absolutely true. I wish more plots would just throw themselves in my lap like that, but this came to me in a dream. It was Kylie and one of the coven that she meets there, Doc. older gentleman, and the demon that she gets involved with. So that was all set in my head, and the whole aspect of opening this book. And in my dream, though, it was called The Big Book of Occult.
Oh.
You know, like one of those golden books that you can get at the store for your kids. No, but Book of the Hidden sounds a little better. So that was the first launch of that kind of genre, and it was a lot of fun. So I wrote a sort of a sequel to the series. This is my Moonriser's Werewolf Mystery series. So that's next one's coming out this spring. So that's fun. He's a sexy beast, isn't he? Now, these books are humorous. There's a lot of humor in them, but there's also a lot of danger and excitement and things like that, and romance. So there's that.
Do you know what? We have a lot of viewers who are very much into the werewolves and shifters and stuff like that. So, so those of you who are really fascinated with the whole shifters and everything else, and the paranormal and supernatural, you need to check out Jeri's books. Now,
JeriWesterson.com. They're all there.
Exactly. And I did post a picture of all your books.
And my crazy quilt. Yeah.
Yes, it just blows my mind. But do you know, Jeri, I think having dreams and creating books from those vivid dreams is very underrated. And I say that because, you know, there are quite a few authors out there who have successfully written books from dreams, and they've been huge. My writing journey started as a really vivid dream, and I normally sleep like the dead. So I was very surprised. But it's amazing, isn't it, how you can have such a vivid dream?
Oh, it was fun. It was, I mean, I was enjoying this dream, you know. And when I woke up, I told my husband about it. I told him the story of the thing in my dream. I didn't want to forget it. And he said, write it down. I said, well, all right. So I got in my office here and I wrote down basically a synopsis, filling in all the details that weren't there. And then I read that to him before he trundled off to work. And he says, write the book. I will. And my agent was up for it. So, you know, I did. You know, it was fun.
Fantastic. So fantastic. One of my sons has night terrors. Done for a long time. And it's just got worse as he's got older. I mean, he's in his 20s now. Yeah. And it's strange because he has such vivid dreams. And sometimes he'll like jump awake and think, where am I? Okay, is there somebody still after me? Or you know, am I still being attacked by zombies? It's really weird. But I have said to him recently, and we had this conversation again this week, I suggested him writing them down.
Yeah.
Just write them down. Sometimes it can be therapy in itself.
Or painting them or drawing them.
Exactly. And I think writing can be such a fantastic way of coping with something that's happening to you or something you're going through as a life experience. It can be so powerful just to create words and put it down on paper.
Get it down, get it out of you, and then put it down there. And then sometimes that can be good to get it away from you once it's out of your head. But dreams are also very good for solving plot problems. If you go to bed and, you know, you just can't get past something in the plot and you sleep on it, literally sleep on it, sometimes it just comes to you and it's just the muse is weird. But
yeah, I agree. Sometimes if I'm stuck, I will go to bed thinking about that scene and replaying it over in my head. And then you're absolutely right. Sometimes by the next morning, I'm like, okay.
Our brains are a marvelous and scary place.
I agree. I agree.
More scary than others.
I was just going to say that. Great. Well, I'm just going to read out some more comments. As I said, I don't click on any of them in case we get lost again. It's not working out too great. Okay, let's have a look. We've done that one. Josephine is trying to type and do stuff too quickly, apparently. She's getting herself all confused. Bless her heart. Let's have a look. I clicked on it by accident, but we're safe. Josephine says, oh dear, who's cheesed off with technology got it? Yeah, I'm upsetting him again.
I should have burned a candle this morning. Did not.
We got Rain who's joined us, but no worries, Beth. You will just have to have Jeri back for another interview. That can be arranged. That can be arranged. Josephine says, love that cover. It's very intriguing. That was with regards to number 1 that you showed us.
Full bones. Mm-hmm.
Oh. And Rosemary's joined us. She says, gorgeous cover.
I don't know about you, but I do judge books by their cover.
I think everyone does, Jeri. I mean,
if they're not professional, if they look too self-done, then yeah, I would tend not to pick up that book.
I'm in agreement with you, and I recently did a bit of a marketing interview recently to help, fellow authors. And sometimes people don't realize, as I said in, the marketing video, sometimes the wrong colors can attract the wrong readers as well. So it needs to be very thought out, doesn't it? And I can see with your books, every single book that I've seen of yours, the covers are so well designed, so well thought out, down to the covers and the font, which all make a difference, doesn't it, in attracting the right reader?
Well, if you want to be a professional, for those indie writers out there, it's important to work with professionals. So don't design your own covers. Hire somebody that's what they do. I mean, as a graphic designer, I learned early on in my career as a designer, you're working with professionals. Yeah. And as an author, you're working with editors and copy editors and designers. Let them do their job and do yours. So yeah, work with people that can do. Now, some of these are indie published, and they are, like my steampunk guy, this is somebody else who designed these covers, because there are certain things I can't do. So
love
her work. Love her work. So she's done some fabulous covers for me.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Right. And people who are great to work with and who see your vision for your cover, that perfectly matches what your story's about. Those are the people that you need to keep hold of, isn't it? Just work again and again and again.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Once you've made my friendship, I have it forever. So
I love it. I love it. Rain says she has it, of course, and can't wait to start it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to leave your review, Rain. We've also got a message from Deborah. She says, absolutely loved the Book of the Hidden series. Was sorry to see it end. Okay, Kristen has joined us. She says hello to you, Jeri.
Hello.
She says she loves paranormal. So, Kristen, you definitely want to check out Jeri's paranormal.
They're all fun. Even though if you don't like steampunk or don't even know what it is, give these guys a try. This is the Enchanter Chronicles. He's a magician of a Jewish Romani descent, and hiding both of them because he's sort of ashamed of that heritage. But he is a magician extraordinaire because he performs real magic by summoning Jewish demons.
Oh, that is very intriguing.
And then we have the Skylar Fox mysteries, the LGBT mysteries. So those are fun. I know it's got kind of cute covers. These are not YA, though. They are adult books, okay?
Adult scenes and language, ladies and gentlemen. Adult scenes and language. But you know what? I think that's great because it makes them more realistic. Right, I'm going to put some comments on before we go any further. Well, I'm not going to click on them.
Don't click it.
I'm not clicking nothing. I'm not clicking nothing. Okay, so we have got. Oh, there we go. Let's have a look. Okay, Kristen says, "Oh, I'm going to have to get some of those books." I think you might.
Now, my LGBT stuff is under the name Haley Walsh, so that's a different name. And
I think it's fantastic. My daughter is part of the LGBTQ community, so I absolutely applaud you. I think too many authors are too frightened to actually, write about it, which is a shame. I think it's an absolute shame.
Well, one of my most interesting characters in the series was a real guy. He was a male prostitute, probably a transgender in his time period, but of course nobody was thinking that, and nobody was even thinking homosexual or gay, you know.
Yeah.
But, so he's an interesting guy that I love to include, and I think people appreciate that he's there.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, it's a real person and a real character, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Kristen says, oh no, some not so. Oh, she's correcting herself. Jeanette says, yes, the magician ones sound amazing. Kristen says it really does sound amazing. And Stephanie says, yes, the steampunk magician story sounds good. So I think you've gained a load of readers, which is fantastic.
They're totally fun. They're fun, and I got to really jump into the research of Victorian England, because it's important to me to have the foundation being as true as possible, and all the other things around everybody in this particular time of London, 1891. And then you can branch off into the magic and the mystical and all that stuff, but have the foundation first.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, I mean, you've got a great passion for the medieval and in the history in general. Do you find that you've got so many ideas on the go, is hard to keep up with? Because I would imagine that, you know, any programs that you watch, documentaries, books you read, will give you inspiration for another book and then another book.
Right. See, you've gone around the question that people always ask: where do you get your ideas? Well, we get them from everywhere, don't we? We get them from every TV show we watch, every movie, every book we read. Just somebody walking down the street, you know, what is that guy doing? And then you invent this whole scenario. What's he doing? So, yeah, I mean, it's organized, though, because I know I'm writing the second werewolf book right now. Then I'm going to be writing the third and last of the Enchanter Chronicles. My agent recommended, because the Crispin Guest series is going to be 15 books long, and I'm going to be ending the series, which I always planned on ending the series. I know that saddens people, but to me, I just don't think a series should go on and on and on and ad infinitum, because sometimes it just gets sloppy, gets repetitive, and stale, and I don't want to do that. And I had an end point anyway, and that follows the timeline of the time period. But now my agent recommended any series I write now goes no longer than 3 books. And that's because the attention span of readers, it's attention span of writer as well, I must say, at this point in my time. I think that's a good metric, because nobody's bored with it. You have a nice little arc, and it's complete. And, you know, there's a lot of readers who will not read a series until it's done, because they don't want to be left hanging.
Absolutely. And
look at our binge culture, right?
Yeah, and I've mentioned that to other authors before. You're absolutely right. There are many people who won't even touch a series until it's complete, because they don't want to wait. And I kind of understand how they feel, to be honest with you. I love the Game of Thrones book series. I loved every single one.
But what if he dies before he's done?
I know. The wait is a killer.
It is a killer, but, you know, I don't know how long it takes him to actually write a book, but it takes me at least 9 months, because I have a lot of research to do if they're historical. It's a little shorter for contemporary books, but there's still research. There's still little things you have to research. What do the police cars in that particular town have on, you know, in their cars? What are the streets like? What's going on? You know, there's it's always something you have to research.
Yeah.
So, you know, but, you know, historicals obviously take longer. So I know a lot of people are thinking 9 months, that's pretty short for a historical. Well, if it's a mystery in a series, then, you know, the publisher wants the next book, the next book, the next book, one a year at least. So, yeah, there's work involved. And if you get stuck, probably like George R.R. Martin is getting a little stuck, I can't remember who his characters are and what they're doing, then he just asks his fans that. I think that's hilarious. Then, you know, you need more time. You need a little time off. And basically, when I'm ending the Crispin series, I won't be probably doing any historicals for a while. Although I really love the Victorian era right now that I've been researching. And there is a YA steampunk that I'm going to be doing once I get some of these others out of the way. So that's my next historical, I guess.
How exciting. It really is. And I love the fact that you do so many different genres. It's fantastic. And I know from your reviews, you know, you are introducing new genres to people who are already fans of your historical books, which is absolutely fantastic because you're just broadening their minds. It's just amazing.
It's nice when I get a little crossover.
Yeah.
What my agent was concerned with, that you wouldn't get enough crossover. And, you know, it is hard to change genres because you are starting all over again. And you can bring some people with you, but surprisingly, there are people who, I just like medieval mysteries. That's it.
Yeah.
So those people won't. But that's fine. That's fine. Everybody has their own interests. But I'm glad some people have come along and tried them and actually liked them after all. So thank you.
It's just fantastic. It really is. It's fantastic. Oh, Sandy's joined us, and Sandy says all of Jeri's books are amazing.
Oh, thank you, Sandy.
That is lovely.
I did not pay her to say that.
Josephine,
but I will.
Josephine says, totally agree. Everywhere and anything for ideas, from the smallest thing to great life-changing stuff we all go through. Yeah. Absolutely. I can't even imagine how big your list is of ideas that you've got for the future, Jeri.
I use a little spiral-bound notebook about so big for each book. So each book has its own, and sometimes a series has several books in one. But the spiral bound is for ideas to get written down. I like to write ideas and research longhand. And it's for research. It's for little bits of dialogue and scenes that come to me. Even when I haven't started that book yet, I like to have a head start. I write pitches. I write all kinds of synopses and things like that, things that are going to happen. And once I'm writing the book, I use these notebooks as brainstorming. Well, here we are. Now what's supposed to happen? I mean, I literally write that down, and then it kind of gives you a jump start.
Yeah.
You know, that's a stupid idea. Lots of arrows and things going, and the stars going to the better ideas. So it's all there.
It is fantastic. I'm going to have to put my laptop down because I'm wobbling all over the place. There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay. Josephine says, hang on. Oh, no. Sanjay has joined us. Thank you, Sanjay. He's joined us from England. Jeanette says, do you have a favorite from your own books? So do you have a favorite book out of all the ones you've written so far?
Of the Crispin books, I am still very fond of the Demon's Parchment. That seemed to have everything I wanted to get in there. And it's about medieval Jews. And in England at this time, they had been kicked out 100 years earlier, all of them. Or did they? So it's got that. It's got mistaken identities. It's got this. It just has everything I wanted to write. And so that's still a favorite Crispin of mine. Right now, I'm really in love. That's what I wanted the book to be. So
that's absolutely amazing, and that was gonna be one of my next questions with regards to audio books. But before I do, I just want everybody to know who's watching. Jeri has very kindly offered to give away a free signed copy of one of her fabulous books, and if you would like to win said signed copy, it's up to you, Jeri, which one you'd like to sign and give away.
I think they can pick the one they want.
Oh, there we go. Even better. Yeah. I bet Kristen's going, yes, yes, yes. But if you would like a chance to win one of Kristen's signed books, all you have to do after we've all finished is to share. So share Jeri's author interview everywhere. The
share
more
your heart out.
Share your heart out, yes. And the more shares you do, the more chance you've got of winning, because each share is an entry into the draw, and Jeri will pick the winner between now and next week. So you've got plenty of time to share across everywhere. Okay, so we got some more comments. Let's have a look. Jeanette says she follows the author, not the genre. So she obviously covers lots of different genres as well, which is fantastic. Oh, Sanjay, bless him, he says, I don't read, but Beth is a lovely person. So lovely. I met
well, would you like audiobooks? Because I can give away those too.
Oh, so, there we go. There we go.
And audiobooks are great for doing when you're doing other things, maybe knitting, cleaning the house, exercise, driving. So if you're not a reader, you got to do is listen.
There we go. There we go. So everybody's got a chance of winning whichever format they would like. That's so generous of you. Thank you so much, Jeri. That is awesome. Let's have a look. Josephine says, I write notes and keywords on paper too. I end up with lots of pages. I think we all do, don't we, Jeri?
Yeah. Get yourself an already spiral bound notebook. Well, you know, and it's true. There's been studies that say that you remember more thoroughly from the written word. So rather than having a digital note, the written word is much easier. And if you write it, then what you're doing is remembering how you wrote it and where you wrote it in the book, in the pages that you've written. So that it's all that iconic memory that helps you to find what you need. So that's what, it's not why I write it down. It works that way for me, I guess. But yeah, and then, you know, I like to doodle.
I think you're absolutely right. The more you write stuff down, the more you do remember.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's why.
Memory too.
Exactly. And it really, really does help. I love your idea about having little notebooks for each different book. I think that is fantastic. I've got to tell you, Joe, the amount of times I've gone through a thick notepad thinking, okay, where did I put that about?
Oh, I'll remember where it is.
Oh my God. So I'm going to have to pinch that idea from you, I think.
Which I stole from Sue Grafton. So,
oh, there we go. Look,
it's got a good provenance.
Yeah, you're paying it forward. We've got Bernadetta who's joined us as well. She says, good afternoon to you, beautiful queens. Bless your amazing hearts. Thank you very much, darling. And Josephine says, I think the written word sticks. So I absolutely agree with that. Mm-hmm. Now, getting back to your audiobooks, Jeri, I'm assuming that was quite an easy decision for you to make, creating audiobooks, because audiobooks are just absolutely booming right now. And as you said, people are listening to them while they're doing the housework, while they're at work doing a monotonous job, or listening to it in the car while they're driving. Right. How did you go about doing your audiobooks? Obviously, we've got a lot of viewers who are authors as well as readers.
Well, my traditionally published books were, I got audiobooks through contracts with audio publishers.
Right.
So free money. But for my self-published books, I went to the audio arm of Amazon, ACX. So that way you really do have a lot of control. You can choose from a variety of readers, of narrators, actors, I call them, because I like my book performed rather than just read. Yeah. But you can, you know, however you want it, you can have them just read, or you can have it enthusiastically performed, or whatever, any level in between. Pick the male, female, whatever accent, no accent. So it's really great that way. You can audition, of course, until you get the right voice.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough that the guy who did the werewolf, and he's American accent, is an actor, and he he did these, and you cannot tell it's the same guy. You can't tell because he's that good. So he's wonderful. So there's that. You can pay, from paying the whole thing to the narrator, or you can do royalty share, which is what I have to do because I don't have money. We share that.
I think it's a great way of enabling authors like ourselves to get into that market, isn't it? I've researched that myself, and I'm hoping to do that this year.
Well, and narrators too. There's a lot of them who. There's one that I had for my Skylar Fox books, and he'd never done an audiobook before, and then he did most all of mine. So I gave him a career. But so yeah, I mean, it's pay it forward to everybody you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing that you do, which I commend you on. I think it's absolutely wonderful, is the fact that you actually go to colleges and museums and actually do lectures and talk to people about medieval times, etc. I think that is absolutely wonderful that you do that, Jeri. That must be so rewarding.
It is, because so many people have misconceptions about the Middle Ages. I mean, they're getting everything from movies, which are, one of the few places you should not. There's 3 places you should not get your history from. 1 is a novel, because it's fiction. 2 is a movie, and 3, God help us, it's the History Channel. So don't get your history from there. So but there are authors who go to great lengths to get the history right. You don't change the history for your plot, you change your plot for the history. So, and there are many, many good authors that do that, and I'm hopefully am one of those good guys. Tries to keep that the plot fits the history. And it's more challenging that way, but it's also more fun because you can find all kinds of ways to make an interesting story based on what really happened. So do that. And it's that's what I get to do at some of these colleges and universities and museums. And I'm grateful for them inviting me.
That's fantastic. And it's also respecting the history as well. I think if you're authentically representing what actually happened, I think I commend you. I think that's absolutely wonderful.
Well, a lot of people don't know the real history. So what you're giving them is some foundation, something that they recognize a little bit of it, but they don't know all the details. So, but that's another thing that's also a problem sometimes, because there are a lot of phrases that we still use today that were used then, but when you use it in that context, people think, oh, that's too modern. When that's you threw me out of the book. But I mean, Shakespeare, we're burning daylight. John Wayne didn't say that first. Shakespeare did. And the same is true. So, those are some things that as an author working with your editor, you have to decide, well, we really shouldn't say that because people will be thrown out of the story, even though it's perfectly authentic at the time period.
Yeah, I agree. And I was asked to do what was it? It was my daughter's school were doing a whole week about different countries, nationalities, etc. And I was asked to go in and talk about England. And it was really tough, cutting down 200 years worth of history down to like an hour.
1,000 years, many years of English history. That's a lot.
It was crazy. So I literally, I had to throw in like Harry Potter and things like that just to keep the kids really interested. But trying to condense that amount of history to key facts was tough. And I did a little game, and it was, do you know what these English words mean? And it was the English version, Old English words for modern day items like garbage. Garbage is an Old English word, and I didn't know that. But I discovered something new myself doing all that.
We still use fine English words. We don't necessarily pronounce them the same. We still use them.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. We've got a comment from Jeanette. She says, I deal with depression. When in a deep depression, I can't read. And audio is a wonderful substitute until my anxiety lessens. That is wonderful.
That's great.
That is absolutely wonderful. I think people underestimate the therapy of words. And having gone through quite a bad car accident in 2007, my writing in all forms just kept me absolutely sane. Do you use your writing as a way to cope with life changes and things that happen in your life, Jeri?
Well, I'm fairly disciplined in that I write every day, holidays and weekends, because I want to. And it's funny, I know a lot of authors who have had trouble writing during the pandemic because they're worried about everything. I haven't had a problem. It's just another day for me. It's just, I'm always home anyway. Yeah. So when I was home, I'm not worrying about getting infected. So I guess it is actually therapeutic because it's something that I do all the time that occupies me. And it's almost hard to sit down and read these days for me, because while I'm reading, especially if it's wonderful prose and I'm getting all this wonderful stuff out of the book, I want to put it down and write.
Yeah.
That's tough. We usually had to go on vacation before I can sit down and stop and read. Still brought my laptop and my notebook so I can continue to write, but again, it gave me an excuse to read. So
yeah. You and I are so similar.
When this pandemic is over, we are getting together.
We need to have a call morning. That would be so cool. Jeri, you've been absolutely outstanding. You've been a fabulous guest. I've enjoyed every minute, and I wish we could literally just carry on. Unfortunately, we can only do an hour, but you've been an absolute joy. I am so excited.
Well, this was fun. This was fun. Despite our little hiccups, we're okay.
Don't let stuff like that bother us. We just carry on like professionals.
Carry on.
Jeri, thank you so much for coming on today, and thank you to all our viewers. Don't forget to share Jeri's interview. The more times you share, the more chance you've got of winning one of her fabulous paperbacks, which is she's going to sign for you. You can pick any of the books that Jeri has lifted up and showed you during the interview, and you can either have paperback signed, or you can have an ebook, or you are very lucky because she's offering an audiobook. So it's completely up to you what you choose. Just get sharing and tell all your friends and family. Jeri, our interview will be up on my platform and the Writers Rock and everything. So it's going to be everywhere. People who may watch later on after finishing work may like to ask you some questions. So if you wouldn't mind checking back over the next few days to a week to answer people's questions and find out more about you. Would that be all right?
I shall.
Oh, fantastic. Jeri, thank you so much. I've enjoyed every second. I really have. And I really hope we can do this again soon.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, people, for coming.
Thank you, everybody. Bye, Jeri. See you later.